to know, if you're traveling, what are some of the things that you can do to navigate this uncertainty right now?
All right. So, yeah, these are not guarantees, but these are meant to decrease the odds of things like delays and cancellations. We talked about avoiding connections. Even if it's more expensive to take that nonstop flight, think of it as an investment in sanity. Take the first flight out of the day. Start thinking as a business traveler. Nobody likes to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, but oftentimes at 5:30, 6 a.m. flights simply will have the best on-time performance. And if you do have issues with that first flight of the day, you've got that much more time during the day to take care of problems. Tuesdays and Saturdays now emerging as lower demand days. So for folks flying out on, say, a business trip, usually they'll do that Sunday or Monday. Flying for leisure, it's Saturdays and Fridays and Sundays. So Tuesdays and Saturdays should generate less traffic overall, therefore lessens the odds for issues. Again, avoid connections. And I know it sounds very difficult to do sometimes, but do not check bags if you can at all avoid it. First of all, it'll save you some money. But again, that's just another cog in the wheel that can go out of whack if you are flying from point A to point B. Avoid checking those bags. Everything in the carry-on, at the end of the day, whatever you need is going to be probably at your destination anyway. So don't fret too much. Carry-on only. Avoid some headaches.
So, of course, because we have all this extra stress, the flights are really expensive now, too. They charge you more for this. So what are some things you can do to try and save money on the airfares?
Yeah, average flights out to Europe right now, about 1,400 round trips. So we're seeing price points that are certainly surpassing pre-pandemic 2019 levels. The good news for European travelers, by the way, is that now the euro and the dollar are pretty much 1-to-1. So your incidentals on the ground, that cappuccino is going to cost you a little bit less. So that's a bit of silver lining there. One thing to keep in mind, a lot of the vacation packages that are out in the marketplace now were negotiated several months ago before the price hike we're seeing in airfare now. So if you find an air-inclusive package to south of the border destination, the Caribbean, Peru perhaps, or Europe, oftentimes you're dealing with these vacation package price points that can rival airfare alone pricing because, again, those were negotiated several months ago, and they basically avoided some of these recent price hikes. So that's one way to go. And again, flying on those lower demand days, usually a flight on a Tuesday can be anywhere from 20 to 50% less than on a Monday. So those Tuesday, Saturday flights should generate some good money-saving opportunities for you.
Gabe, what about recourse in terms of when I'm hearing stories of people when their flights do get changed or they have to change to another airline, they actually have to absorb that additional cost. Now, I was lucky enough, they changed airlines from the original flight and they absorbed the cost of that. How does that work? What can you tell people to look for, and what's the best approach to something like that?
And listen, every situation is really a case-by-case basis, but generally speaking, this was a case for you, Chris, where the airline did not get you to your connecting destination in time. Honestly, I've been in those situations. They probably could have held that gate open for another couple of minutes, but there is this push to try to avoid being one of those tallied delayed flights. And so there's this kind of careful dance these airlines are doing between keeping these gates open for incoming connecting travelers and trying to get out of there before they get claimed as a delayed flight. But usually if it's the airline's responsibility, they've got to get you on that next flight, whether it's their airline or not, to your destination and pick up some of the ancillary costs that come with being delayed for several or many hours. When weather's a factor, that's just still something that the airlines can basically point to, say, Mother Nature, and then you're sort of on your own there. But in your case, it is up to the airlines to make sure that your trip is made whole and they get you to your destination in the most efficient and least painful way possible, ideally.
All right, Gabe. Great information. Gabe Saglie, thanks again for joining us today, and hopefully
great to see you guys.
A little less agita for us as we move forward in trying to fly. Wish everybody luck, right?
Yeah, some great tips there. The hardest one is going to be compacting all of my things into that carry-on luggage.
Yeah.
Again,